was settling in. And we're lucky not to go in 1-0 down. But the second half we overpowered them, and a great goal.
I thought we were a bit shaky at the back of the first half. Aspilicueta came on a bit late, but Pedro does what he does best, pops up with a goal. Assist from Moses.
Yeah, and I think Moses needs to learn to shoot. Once he's done that, he's all round there.
I thought Fabregas could have shot a couple of times today as well.
They could have, yeah. I think at the end of the day, it's job done, isn't it?
Yeah, job done. Quarter-finals, it's time we get Millwall away.
I was hoping for Lincoln, actually.
Hoping for Lincoln.
Hello everybody and welcome to CFC Fan TV. As you can see, that's the footage from our weekend game against Wolves in the FA Cup. I think although we had a pretty frustrating first half, Conte also obviously gave them some really strong words in the dressing room at half-time. We came out with a clean sheet and a 2-0 win, and we are now through to the next round. So, with that being said, let's find out the 5 things we have learned this week. In at number 1 is, of course, our captain, JT. He actually had a great game against Wolves. Like I say, the first half was sort of disappointing, but in the second half, everything seemed to even out, and obviously, we got the win. So it was just great to see our captain back. I know he hasn't been a favourite, obviously, in the Premier League for Conte, but we have to move on at some point. But I think, him playing in the FA Cup and him doing so well, if we could lift the FA Cup trophy, that would be, sort of a brilliant send-off him at the end of the season if he were to leave, which is looking obviously quite likely. But yeah, it was great to see him back in action and really contributed to the win. In at number 2 is Nathan Ake. Now, as you all know, he was man of the match against Wolves, and that's thoroughly deserved. He was definitely my man of the match. And, it's a good sign. I think when he came back from Bournemouth, not every single Chelsea fan was convinced that he'd do a good job. And I don't think he's had, obviously, much game time in the Premier League at all. But he's definitely proved himself in that game. And it's a good sign for the future, that we can bring on our youngsters and they can do just as good a job as our captain and so on and so forth. So, he's a massive part of why we won that game. And I look forward to seeing more of him in future games. In at number 3 is Diego Costa. Now, as we all know, he has sort of dipped out of form recently. I mean, he's clearly taken quite a confidence knock. However, I really felt like if he could get a goal in this game, then he'll be back to his best for the Premier League. And, that happened, and I think his class shown. I think every review online is saying, how well he did and how much he shone. And that's the Diego Costa that we all know and we all love. So hopefully for our game against Swansea, he's back to our best, because although we are quite a way ahead of everybody else now, these last few games in the season are going to be absolutely crucial, and we need to make sure for the next few months that we are absolutely on top of our game, and for that to happen, we need Diego Costa to be at his best. So luckily and hopefully he's back. In at number 4 is Victor Moses. Now, I think he's, been a fantastic servant for Chelsea this season. Like I say, I love the fact that Antonio Conte plays players based on their performance, not their name, and I think he's done that with Victor Moses, and I don't think many other managers would have put him in the first team as much as he has been this season. So, however, the only other criticism I have for him is that his last touches aren't the best. I think we had a lot of balls coming down the wing against Wolves, and just that last touch. I think if he can learn how to shoot, we're definitely there. He's had a couple of goals this season, but I think a player of his level should definitely be aiming for that, and I think that's definitely the next step for him. And in at number 5, last but not least, we now know that we have drawn Manchester United in the next round of the FA Cup. I think Jose's come out and said, he's got so many other things to think about before he thinks about this draw. As we know, he's sort of had a bit of an embarrassing return to the bridge when they lost 4-0 against us in October. But I think he's played it down probably slightly. I think he's obviously slightly worried about coming in. It's not the easiest of fixtures, but we don't fear any of that, and hopefully, we can bag a win. I think Jose's also said that we don't have anything else to worry about because we're already champions. I mean, yeah, it's highly likely we're going to be champions, but I don't think Conte goes into any match thinking, oh yeah, we've won it now. So it's still a big game, still means a lot to us fans, and like I say, it's important. And if anything, we want to win the FA Cup this year, and I think it's going to be, even more fantastic if it's something to send, Terry out on. Comment below, guys. Do you think this is a good draw for us? Are you a little bit nervous? Let me know. But yeah, either way, I'm excited, and I absolutely love a home draw. Right, so there you have it. Those are the 5 things we've learned this week. Comment below, guys. Let me know, who do you think performed well against Wolves at the weekend? Charlie's going to be in the studio this week, answering all your questions for a bit of Blues news. So get them in, comment below, and hopefully we're picking up another 3 points against Swansea this week. God,